Everybody, good morning. Hey, Rep Stock, thank you for becoming a channel supporter, even if you just renewed with a different information. Thank you so much. NVDA became the first company to the $4 trillion line, and we're pushing higher this morning. That's kind of crazy right there. Kind of crazy. And funny enough, right here, we're in the target zone. Right there. I thought we'd get to the 161. Tagged it. Next target up. 169. 191. If things get extra spicy right there. Pretty wild. Pretty wild right there. Yeah, so Erdy, there's a list of what you get for the different tiers. If you click the button for it, and I do give, like, there's a link to get in Discord, which most members are already in Discord, and then you get extra live streams. You get to, I post the orders that I have open for this account right here every time. Well, I try to do it every time I make a change. I was trying to do it daily, but sometimes it's just the same picture over and over because nothing changes. Like, nothing has changed since Monday, and that should change today, though. We'll see. Delta, big winner chicken dinner here this morning. Everybody's talking about all sorts of stuff, but look at that. Boom. Right there. Funny enough, it triggered the daily roadmap setup right there, and we're right up to the target right there. I had sold puts at 44, 45, 46 across different accounts. 55, those should cash outs right there. Pow. And yeah, I get behind the scenes stuff. I can't give, part of the, I work for a publisher. Part of their allowing me to turn on channel memberships was I cannot do stock alerts. Can't do an alert service through channel memberships. That was a condition of allowing me to turn on channel memberships. So it's complicated, as you might say. I do extra live streams and extra tidbits. You get priority request access for Tuesdays, 30 minutes of awesome. And I'm open to other suggestions for things people want, but I can't give out trade alerts. I do share, the open orders for the portfolio in the 50K challenge. So anyway, love that move, man. So Delta, I kind of wish I got put shares back here, but I didn't. And here we go. Now, I know some of you in the Greenlight alerts, income alert system, are in this trade right here. Let's just clear this chart up. What do we got cooking? We got, let's turn that off. An ABC correction. Absolutely beautiful correction. Potential. Now, this has the potential to dip down to here. Right there. This is not a cause for concern or worry. Roadmap line support right there around 37. 35. Could go as low as 33. I mean, it's entirely possible. If you're like, I don't want to ride those shares down. Well, don't ever sell puts on something you don't want to own shares on. Period. All right? Doesn't matter who you're copying, who you're following, who you're anything. Do not ever sell a put, even in a credit spread, if you don't want to own those shares. I'm just saying. Like, there are a few exceptions, like XSP, you can't ever own the shares. SPX can't ever own the shares. NDX can't ever own the shares. VIX can't ever own the shares. There's some contracts like that. But if you ever sell a put, even part of a credit spread, and you don't want to own those shares, do not do that trade. Period. Benito. Bendito. right there. I'm just saying. Same with calls. If you sell a call credit spread and you don't want to end up short shares by some crazy, for whatever reason, you don't want to like get executed early or whatever, don't sell a credit spread. Put it on your list. Like, that's something I don't want to do. When I first started trading options, this beast right here, when I first started trading options, back here, and this is like trading options, not just like selling calls and puts against, well, selling cover calls is what I really first learned to do. But back here, let's see, it's probably a few splits ago, because yeah, it was right in here, right in this zone. You see these big moves? I mean, they were, this was pre-split prices, so these were hundreds of dollars, not $10. And Apple used to move. What if I can unsplit adjust the chart? Can't remember where the button is for that. Doesn't really worry. Doesn't really matter, I guess. Thought it was right there. Anyway, I used to trade Apple back here, and I used to trade it. I learned how to trade options on Apple back here. We would sell. What you would do was sell to right at the money, buy one further away. Is that right? No, that's not right. I don't think. I think it's the other way around. You buy one at the money, sell two further away. You try to get more credit, but the thing was, it creates this profit loss curve like this. So the goal was to get Apple to move into this zone. I think it was sell two, buy one. The goal was to get Apple to move into this. And it used to pin. So you would try to guess the strike price it was going to pin at the end of, I do this every Friday. Well, Apple did something crazy at the close, and I couldn't get filled on the exit, and it moved way past. It moved way past, and I was like, uh-oh. On the back spread. It's called a back spread. And I don't trade these because they're freaking dangerous. Probably haven't traded them in however long that's been, like 15 years. So right there, I was in trouble. I couldn't get it closed. It was illiquid. The market closed. You do this in the last few minutes. I was in a $5,000 account, right? I was trading like a bunch of these, like a bunch. And guess what? Friday, expiration day. These are 0-day options. Way in the money. I ended up with $2 million short and negative $2 million of stock in Apple. It's not unlike the Robinhood story where the guy killed himself, back 5 years ago or whatever during COVID. I was short $2 million. $2 million when I came back in on Monday. I had margin calls. The broker was not happy. I had a $5,000 account, and over leveraged is what you might say. And but the thing is, I was short the shares. Short shares. So what happened? Thank the Lord, one of these drops happened overnight between Friday and Monday, and I got out for like $100 profit. Closed my shares. I was like $100 to the good. I was like, thank goodness, I'm out. Not doing that again. And was it stressful? Yeah, that was the first time I ever got put a massive amount of shares. And you know what? The guru that taught me how to do this, nowhere to be found. Nowhere, like email communication only. Usually take him 3 or 4 days to respond. He would basically only trade on Fridays. So he wasn't around Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday with any kind of updates. So that's partly why I started Discord when I became a guru. Like, I want people to be able to, like, hey, I got put those shares of Chewy, and I know, I see it. I read your messages. All right, so take a deep breath. It'll be okay. Now, if for some reason that puts you in some sort of jam on Chewy, you traded too big. All right, this is a learning lesson time. Like, if you're feeling stress, you don't think you're going to be able to sleep because of the shares you got put on Chewy, you traded too big. All right, you should always be able to sleep at night, no matter what happens on one of these positions. For me, no big deal. Like, I had the cash reserved. Even if it goes down here, I don't, like, no big deal. Like, I'm looking for that next bounce. The upside is what I'm playing on this. We've got a history. Look at this. The reason I went after this is the history of this thing going whoop, bounce, whoop, bounce, whoop, bounce, whoop, bounce, whoop. That's what I'm gunning for right here. That's ultimately what I want to catch. I actually kind of hope I get put shares. It's kind of like Delta right here. I kind of wished I had been more aggressive and got put shares, because that would be hugely profitable right there. Now, it may come all the way back down. If you got put those shares and you caught that pop, good on you. Rocket Lab, I got put those shares, right? Got them at 25. Rode this up. There wasn't much downside to after I got put, but hey, you never know exactly how it's going to unfold. That's what I'm looking for. Like, right now I have a 39 call sold for tomorrow. I might have to sell those at 39. No big deal. I got paid well on that move. I'm not going to care what happens after that. Next up. Next example. Celsius. Right here. I got put those shares right around 34. Maybe it's 35, 36. I don't know. When it was chopping in here, I got put shares. When it hit 42, 41, 40, right up here, I got called out. Haven't looked back. We hit that resistance zone right there. I expect this to pull back. If it does, I'm selling puts again, trying to get in some shares, because what do I expect? Bigger upside move into that 618 resistance. If we clear it, on to bigger targets. All right. Look at the S&P. We're just grinding. Grind it out, grind it out. I've been trading for a long time. I've done a lot of stupid stuff. I've learned a lot. There's there's a lot of lessons that I've learned that I haven't necessarily talked about. I mean, I've talked about that 2 million thing here and there, but that was one of the first learning lessons I learned on options. And then I went to a place called Options Animal. Now, this is, not necessarily an endorsement, but if you want to learn if you really want to learn comprehensive options, learn to fix bad trades. How do I know all the things It's because of this. And they've gone up a lot in their price. But yeah, I probably still have a member login here too. They go through a whole, like, every different kind of option trade you could do. You have this 6-step guide thing. Do I agree with the way they trade? Not necessarily. Do they teach you how to do all the different stuff with options? Yeah, they teach you everything, like butterflies and iron condors and credit spreads and debit spreads. And like, this is a very, like, it took me, I'd say, almost a year to get through the entirety of their course. And they recommend paper trading all the way through till you prove you can paper trade an account to profit for 6 months. This is why I have high confidence that I can make money in the long term, especially in the 50K account. Like, I know how to fix trades. I know how to, like, they taught me a lot of stuff. Now, it's been a long time since I've looked at any of their stuff. So it's a comprehensive place. I bought that education. It did cost a bunch of money. Probably costs even more now. I didn't have a lot of money back then. And I'd say probably 90% of the stuff I learned, I don't use because I found some stuff that works for me. Now, what they're not good at predicting direction. In fact, most of the time, they don't predict direction at all. They just go more for fundamental analysis, not technical analysis. I learned technical analysis after I learned that. And so after I did that options animal thing, like, I got this, for whatever reason, I have this natural ability to look at an options chain and find unique opportunities. I can't always explain it. Sometimes it takes me a long time to figure it out, what I'm seeing. And, long time is in months and months when I see the same sort of thing over and over. And one of my trading mentors that I worked with after Options Animal, he was like, I've never seen anybody trade options like you do. You just pop up the chart and or you pop up the chain and you know exactly what to trade. He's like, I've never seen anybody that had that kind of skill like that. And I can't explain it. Like, sometimes I just know what I should be trading. And, sometimes it doesn't work out for me. But sometimes I can find the opportunities. Way before I was a guru, I had $40,000 days. Way before COVID, way before anything, because I would be in the right stuff at the right time. Green Mountain Coffee Roasters was my favorite stock along the way for trading options. Unfortunately, it went private, and then now it's Keurig Dr. Pepper, and it doesn't trade the same at all. It just, me and this stock, we aren't buddies. Not lost money on it, but that's just not tradable kind of price action for me right there. Something happened when they combined with Dr. Pepper. Something happened when they released the Keurig Cold. And that's why they had to go private, because that was just an epic disaster of a product. Trying to compete with SodaStream, I guess. And, I mean, I guess the big thing here is that this doesn't trend, right? That's not trending for the last 4 years. There's no trend. You need something that trends to make money. And I guess back when I was trading Green Mountain Coffee Roasters, I didn't really realize it, but I was a trend pullback continuation trader. I would get in these pullbacks into earnings and have a big position, and then catch the earnings pop and make a crap ton of money. I love that stuff. Green Mountain Coffee Roasters was my jam. I had a couple others that I traded on and off, but it went away, and then I wasn't able to replicate it. So I went searching for the missing piece, and that turned out to be the technical analysis piece. And I ended up at wallstreet.io, because they had a system that would put out alerts daily on your technical setup. And there was a guy there, I think his name's Andy. He's probably still there. I think they were sending out emails about him. He tipped me off to Elliott Wave, but I'd already been following Avi on ElliottWaveTrader.net, EWT, and I'd already been reading his stuff like on Seeking Alpha. I decided I was going to learn Elliott Wave. Andy, I had a conversation with Andy, and he was like, "So you're gonna pick up Elliott Wave really quickly." He's like, "A couple weeks, you probably have it. You think, yeah, I got this." He's like, "Then you'll become a wave slapper, and you'll be, throwing it on to all sorts of things." He's like, "You might get lucky a few times, and then, then you're gonna get it wrong a lot." And I was like, "I'm good at picking up skills. I think you're wrong." This was me thinking to myself. I was like, "I think he's wrong." He told me it's going to take a good 3 to 4 years of doing Elliott Wave stuff before I really got good at it. Lo and behold, it took me about 4 years before, or 3 years, and then I hit COVID exactly right because I was in all the right counts, all the right time, made $1 million, and the rest is kind of history. It took me about 3 years to get good at Elliott Wave stuff, and that's how I can predict these things these days. So hopefully that story helps some of you that are new kind of get where I'm coming from. I've never worked for a bank, never worked for a hedge fund, not ever been paid to trade other people's money. I do trade my parents' accounts, help them get closer to retirement. My mom is retired. My dad still works. Trade for my wife and I. And I'm trying to build this 50K account here. Like, I've always traded in retirement accounts. And a guru friend of mine, as the story goes, back earlier, a few months ago, he's like, "Hey, why don't, instead of worrying about all these ways that you try to make money, why don't you just do what you know how to do, build an account that actually produces reliable trading income?" That's what I'm doing. So, as we can see right here, this is pretty reliable trading income right here, I would say. I mean, I don't know. You can give me your opinion. This account is up like 17 grand because of Rocket Lab. So I'm going to book a big profit here sometime that's going to push this way up. And we're going to go from this 8K zone up to like over double that, 17K up here. So this thing will shoot up when I finally get called out those shares for Rocket Lab. It's a new way of life. Like, I'm building this into a taxable, reliable income right here. Maybe I know some of you don't necessarily like the fact I have to charge for services and, charge for alerts and things like that. But it's how my kids and my wife eat. It's how we eat. It's how we pay rent and stuff. So pay the mortgage right now until this works out. It's like, why don't you just live off of what you made? Well, I'm building that. All right. Those who do, as they say, those who can do. Well, I'm trying to do it and teach you how to do it too. So there you go. Yeah. I've had this since I was not 19. Let's see. I was in Air Force ROTC till 2001. So I've had this since 2001. My grandfather, Colonel, and I sat down and he's like, "Get what you want on the contract, otherwise don't sign the contract." And they wouldn't agree to put what I wanted in the contract, so I didn't sign the contract. And they said, "Well, you can't be in ROTC anymore. See you later. And if you want to sign the contract." And so I grew a goatee, and that was 2001. So I've had this for 24 years now, I guess. There you go. All right. Moving on. How do I get my handy on your chart? What chart? I mean, you're here. Like, this is part of the group. So I try to teach everybody, you know, basically there's a couple systems that if you want to really know how to predict markets and stuff, learn Elliott wave. Then you're an analyst. Like, you want to spend your time being an analyst, or you just want the few high probability trades that I've picked out of Elliott wave. Basically, a measured bounce is a 2 or a B wave. Like, it's catching the bottom of a 2 or the bottom of a B wave. That's a measured bounce. I'll talk about that. That's the 618 retrace. All right. That's two main patterns that I trade. Pattern number one goes like this. We have price come down, hit a low, come up, hit a high, retrace, hit the 618, and then you get continuation. This would be a reversal. It'd be a 1, 2, 3, possibly, or an A, B, C. I don't care which one it is, right? I'm looking for this reversal pattern. That's what I call measured bounce. I teach that in the fib class right there in more detail, and I teach it in the Termite Trading Lab in-person events in a lot of detail with all the rules and stuff like that. But we're basically looking for those reversals, and a lot of times they show up where we're coming up in price, come down, we get that 618 retrace. This may sound familiar. Always looking for, even on the roadmap line bounces, we're looking for that clearance of that 618, because if we stop there and turn down, that's a measured bounce going down. And likely it's an A, B, C correction off the trend that is up. And then that's a point where we can get in and ride the next move up. That's what's happening on Chewy. Right here. Didn't quite hit the 618, got really close. Kind of came up, scratched the 50. Now we're getting a continuation down. So because we came up short right there, we may come up short down here and just hold the roadmap line. Now the roadmap line bounce, that combines something else. All right, this roadmap line, many times, price will bounce off of it in a wave 2 or a wave 4. So a lot of times we're catching some sort of wave 2 or some sort of wave 4 when we find price bouncing off that roadmap line. So those are a couple of the high probability Elliott wave patterns that I trade right there. I spend a lot of time figuring out exactly what it is that's repeatable, that I can find in the charts and trade. So those are the two kind of patterns. Yeah, basically, I'm looking for a 2. I'm all the time on the hunt for a 2, because a 3 is powerful. It makes you a bunch of money. My bullish list is stuff full of potential wave 2s of different degrees, all this stuff. Now, some of it's bottomed in the 2, some of it still has further to go in the 2, some of it's subwave 2s. But a lot of this is hunting for a bottom or just bottomed, and then going to be looking for that wave 3 expansion. That's why stuff's on that list. So this one, still looking for the bottom here, right there. A little bit different show than we normally do. Hopefully that helps some new people here. So it's just the same patterns. I teach them. Like, there's no secret sauce to it. There's no extra stuff I'm hiding. For those of you who've been around, you can contest to this in the chat. I just look for the same technical patterns all the time. Like this one. A, B, C. There's some nuance to it when you really get into the Elliott wave. I mean, the Elliott wave book by Frost and Prutcher is like this thick, and then you can spend years kind of refining it. And there's Elliott wave ticians, and then there's Elliott wave naysayers, and there's wave slappers. And wave slappers are people that see a 5 wave and they're like, all right, that's a 1, 2, 3, 4, and we're looking for the 5th wave, and then that'll be it. But there's some caveat here, like you broke a rule, like 4 can't overlap 1, so that's not a 5 wave. There's proportions that need to be obeyed. Otherwise, it becomes lower probability. The proportions, and the reason that they 50 and 76 are blue, typically your wave 2 needs to retrace into this zone right here to be a quality wave 2. That's a wave 2 potential. Now, coming out of that wave 2 potential, you need price to get to this 1618. If it stops at this zone, that's probably in A, B, C, more likely. So this gives me a little caution on this move on ES right here, because these two are lower highs. Now, it doesn't negate the fact that we might go on higher, but it's not going to be impulsive, all right? This correction right here overlapped this high right here. That was a 3-wave move up. That stayed at the 1272. That's not the classic proportion that you would see for a wave 3. It's more like a wave C. So that could be that this is a correction and we get another bigger move down. Possible. Could be that this is a beginning. This could be a wave 1. This could be a wave 2 of a leading diagonal. This is where it gets more complicated. You can't just wave slap, all right? But if it's a leading diagonal, this correction will be 3 waves, this move will be 3 waves, this move will be 3 waves, and the final move will be 3 waves. It'll be all made up of a 3-wave type bullcrap. So far, not very clean right here. Now, could be that this was the 1, this was the 2, this was the 3, this was the 4, just really fast, and 1, 2, 3, and we get a 5, and we come up shy of breaking out, and then we get a deep retrace, because when a leading diagonal ends, we usually get a deep 786 type retrace. That may bring us, let's see, I already got a fib line on there. That may bring us all the way back. Like if we come up to here, we could get a deep retrace all the way down 786, possibly even 886, which would be right about here. So we could see a deep retrace here before we get the next move up. And that's kind of what I'm watching for S&P, the futures right now. Looking at this one, a bit more clear. This looks like we're going to extend it on up. Like this first move up, not very clear, retrace, maybe continuation, retrace. We don't want to see overlap, and then get that 6340 area, 6350, 6360, somewhere in that 63 area. CL breaking back down. Not what we wanted to see for continuation higher. Probably come back down. Test that. GC, just chopping around in here. Watch for the next leg lower. Bitcoin attempted the breakout yesterday, failing spectacularly. This would be an interesting one. All about perspective. Yeah, I saw somebody talking about a parabolic move. Didn't look very parabolic to me. I keep up the daily chart though. It was just a little pop, retested the high, didn't break out. Still sitting at resistance. All about time frame. We need the bigger breakout. Possibly take us up into this 120 area. But if we don't get the bigger breakout, we might be topping. Like this could be topping out. Like it's entirely possible that we just don't go any higher and start back down. So that'd be a warning sign right there for Bitcoin. Ethereum came up strong too, but not breaking higher. Yet again, this is a cautionary little pattern here because what it set up, if we keep that lower high, it's a weird but head and shoulders type thing. And if it broke down, we could see an extension on down to that $1,000 area if this took a turn down and completed that head and shoulders, even though it's a crazy head and shoulders right there. So if this took a turn down and then broke the neckline, now if it rejected the neckline, it's probably setting up for more sideways chop. NKD, not breaking out. Dollar, probably going to, at least for the next few weeks, months, work on coming back up in this 101, 102 area. Apple, nothing spectacular. Found resistance at the roadmap line and just parked it. Amazon, boy, the negative news yesterday. First day of Prime Day was down 41% from last year. Still got today and tomorrow to go. Sales aren't as great. People aren't showing up. People aren't spending money. I haven't found any like deals where I'm just like, ooh, that's a good one. So I don't know. All my money's pumping into the 50K challenge right now anyway. Trying to build that up. Google, if we break down, watch out. Meta, also watch out. Not breaking higher. Microsoft, still grinding higher. We did tag the 501 on the log scale. We're coming up shy of the 508. And if we get the expansion here, which we may chop back around a little bit, 565. NVDA, as I started out, we're coming into that. Oh, I just made some trades. Delta just closed out. Looking for that 177, possibly 212. Tesla, still working on this. Still working on this right here. Watch out for that last little pop down. If we could pop through, get through the 618, we'll be looking for upside. If we rally into the earnings, we may get a pullback though. So that's the caution. If we rally from here up into earnings, may see a pullback on earnings. If we push down into earnings, that may be a giant pop on earnings. All right. I talked about a lot of other stuff. Let's just look at the setups here. These are all roadmap line bounces. There's the high, here's the low, here's the break above, 279 target, CRH. Clear this one off. Here's the high, here's the low. There's the close above, 102 target. Statistics, 30, 77, 1.4. Better than average. Burl, 5, 62. Not great. EETH, there's the entry on that one. Just a little baby target. There's the high, there's the low. Target 54.90. ETH, another Ethereum one. Target 25.10. GBDC. Here's the high, here's the low. Cross above the 618. Close above the 618. 1550 on the upside. LTC. Here's the high, here's the low. That one, it actually picked up the tighter, picked up lower time frame stuff right there. Maybe that one. Yeah, that one's the one. So 36 upside, but it's been chopping. I wouldn't touch that, honestly. Even though it's 30, 80, and not above 2. Just because of the sideways not moving chop. High here, low here. 996 target, mine mid. Be careful on this one. Close above, 850 on the upside there, and VMC. Here's the high, here's the low, 281 target up there, and it has the bigger potential bounce going here. This was an ABC correction, and this one might perform pretty big, the upside there. But bias for the day, still expecting a grind higher, even though talked about on the futures, not so clear on the move. So we may grind up into the highs. Be careful out there. The account you say maybe you're on. I'll be in Discord, hanging out.